Oregon Joint Line!
Hi everybody! In this video we'll examine the operations of Anderson and Middleton's lumber mill at Westpine, Oregon on the Oregon Joint Line layout. This area was a late addition to the Oregon Joint Line after a dedicated dispatcher's office was constructed in another room, freeing up this area for more layout. This is the second logging railroad on the Oregon Joint Line, the other being the Oregon and Northeastern Railroad, which was featured in an earlier operations video. With the Westpine area, I really wanted to dedicate a large space to a single industry, in this case a lumber mill. I wish I had even more room, but I'm happy I was able to include a sizable log yard, a drying kiln and green chain, a large shipping shed, a lumber flat and chip loading area, a main gate scene, a mill office building, an employee parking lot, and a large log truck repair facility.
Yeah, we're all done, got everything emptied out, so you're okay to pull the empties and spot the loads in. The unload crew is clear. Okay, pull and spot. Thank you. Out.
The logger pulls down the main and cuts off his train between the siding switches, then runs light power down to the log yard to pull the empties. He'll pull the empties through the siding, leave them there, and then shove the loads through the main back down to spot in the log yard. You'll come out of the log yard with the caboose and cut it off just short of the siding switch. Then he'll shove the empties down through the siding, tie onto the caboose, and pull it back up into the siding, and his outbound train will be ready to go. Let's take a look at the track plan for Westpine. To the left is the staging track for the log train, to the right is the mill complex, and in the middle is the Y, which is the connection to the rest of the Oregon Joint Line. Both the Union Pacific and Northern Pacific interchange with the A&M at Westpine, and their interchange tracks go in two different directions. Likewise, there are industry spurs in both directions, making for some real creative possibilities in switching the complex. Now we'll go ahead and switch out the interchange cuts previously left by the Northern Pacific and Union Pacific railroads. First we'll grab the UP interchange cut off the east leg of the Y. We'll switch out the cars for the mill from the cars from the grain elevator, then we'll shove the cars for the grain elevator around the Y to get them lined up to spot. When we get around to the other end of the Y, we'll go ahead and switch out the interchange cut left by the Northern Pacific. We'll put cars from the mill against the UP cars for the mill we left on the main earlier. We'll put our grain elevator spots against the UP grain elevator spots. Then we will put our chip cars against the caboose on the siding for easy spotting later. Hanging onto our spot cars for the grain elevator track, we'll go ahead and reach down and make our poles. We'll set the poles towards the main to get them out of the way for now, and then we'll spot up the grain elevator track. In the interest of time, we'll go ahead and speed things up a bit. We'll grab our 3 poles from the grain elevator and shove them out the tail track of the Y. We'll leave our 2 UP cars on the tail of the Y and then pull back with the NP car and leave it there on the NP interchange track. Then we'll grab the head boxcar off the cars we switched out for the mill earlier and take that around the Y to line up the boxcars and the flats for easy spotting in the mill. While we're doing that, we can grab the 2 grain cars we pulled earlier and pull them around the Y, leaving them on the UP interchange track. We'll go ahead and come against the empty log cars on the siding. Use those as a handle to switch the chip track. Again, we'll speed things up a bit. Now that we have our mill spotters all lined up, we'll shove down to spot and pull the mill. First, we'll reach down and pull the loaded lumber flats. The deep load is for the Union Pacific, and we also have a Union Pacific boxcar first out on the shed track. We'll set that lumber load for the UP against the shed track first. We'll set the 2 Northern Pacific lumber loads against the loaded chip cars. We'll save time later if we keep our Northern Pacific and Union Pacific cars separated as we pull. Now that we got the lumber mill pulled and spotted, we'll go ahead and grab all our poles and take them around to the head of the Y, switch out the NPs from the UP, and then go to lunch. You might be wondering how I chose Anderson and Middleton as the company to model. Anderson Middleton was a company on the coast of Washington where I grew up in Grace Harbor, and my dad worked for them for over 25 years. I also worked for them, as my brother did, during summers in my college years. Anderson and Middleton never had any operations close to Oregon Joint Line territory, but it's kind of fun to have a nice tribute to my family on the layout. The mill name of Westpine is a nod to the western Oregon mill town of West Fir. West Fir was located near Oak Ridge, Oregon, in fir territory. And the Oregon Joint Line were in pine territory, so I thought Westpine would be an appropriate name.
Pay bonds local to the A&M. A&M coming at you out of Silvis. 5 cars for you. inbound cars with your 5 outbound cars. All right, no help from the E&M. You pay out. Burns local, Sylvie's yardmaster, ready to come back from Westpine.
Sylvie's answering the UP. I've got a southbound working at the south end of Sylvie's. You'll be stuck there for him.
Okay, stand by southbound. Looks like it's going to be another 12-hour day on the U-Pay. Northern Pacific, Sylvie switched to the A&M. A&M! Yeah, you fused by us. We're coming your way with 6 cars. Okay, just coming out of lunch. Put our engine towards the west leg of the Y. If you can cut off on your inbound short of the Y switch and go against your outbound on the interchange track, we'll grab your inbound and tie your caboose on. You can pull it through and be on your way. Okay, we'll go against the outbound and you'll take care of the rest. You guys provide good service. Yeah, preemptive, please.
With both the interchanges made and all the customers pulled and spotted, our work is done for the day at Westpine. So we'll grab our empties and head back to the woods.
A&M logger to the yard, boss. We're all done for the day, so we got our empties and leaving town for the woods. All right, boys, have a safe trip. We'll see you tomorrow. A&M logger out.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Oregon Join Line!